Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beacon of Light at the Derringdo Lighthouse. Mind, power, eternity. Your transformation is always in progress. Today's topic is white supremacy is the greatest religion on the planet. I know this is a very sensitive topic, but we have to discuss it. Change your mindset, change your behaviors, heal yourself, change your situations. Whether you believe that white supremacy exists or does not exist in your personal views or experiences does not mean it doesn't exist by other people who feel and have experienced the effects of white supremacy. Now, there are 9 areas that Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. lists as some of the most profound areas that white supremacy has its strongholds. I will list them in the order that he listed them. Shout out to Mr. Fuller. They are economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, warfare, or counter warfare. I would like to add a 10th one. I feel the 10th one deserves its own role because white supremacy plays even a major role in this 10th area that I want to include, and that's healthcare. So 10. Mr. Fuller gave us 9. I'm adding a 10th one. There's a quote by Mr. Fuller, Neely Fuller Jr., and it goes something like this. I'm going to read what he wrote. If you do not understand white supremacy, racism, what it is and how it works, everything that you know about it will only confuse you. I repeat, if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything you know about it will only confuse you. I want that to sink in your subconscious mind for a minute or two, because it's very important for us to face the truth, see it for what it is, and stop sugarcoating it. At least for my brothers and sisters in the West, you are more prone to the effects of racism. You see it happening all the time. You see it happening at the grocery stores. You see it happening at the mall. You see it happening at the movie theaters. You see it happening at the restaurant. You see it happen when you're walking down the street. You see it happening where you live. You see it happening when you're driving in your car. You see it happen when you're at the stop sign. You see it happening everywhere you go. So white supremacy in its form, in its notion, in its ideology, in its philosophy exists in the real world. Take it or leave it. It is evident that we've been through the worst of its effects, and it still has its hands on our necks. George Floyd said, "I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe." And the police officer, the white police officer, I will call him a race soldier, still had his knee pinned on George Floyd's neck for how many minutes and seconds? I can go on and on with story after story, but this video will be too lengthy. So I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to stick to what I want you to understand or to drive home so that you can be aware if you're not aware. And if you're already aware, at least you understand what I'm saying. So keep in mind the 9 areas plus the one I included, making the 10th area of people activities that white supremacy has its stronghold on. Once again, economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, warfare, and healthcare. White supremacy has control on all areas. There's none of these areas that it does not have its stronghold on. You can't even argue with me. You can't even say it's not true. Just do your own investigation and you see it for yourself. It's life and direct. Too many times I hear people talk about it's not true. White supremacy doesn't exist. It never existed. It's just a hoax. It's a make-believe. Even white folks don't believe white. Look, the white folks that don't believe white supremacy exists are lying. And those who don't want to talk about it know it exists because they are also beneficiaries of the system. And those who will come out blatantly and say, yes, it exists, so what are you going to do about it? Those are just like, they don't care whether you know. They know it exists and they will use it. So you have different variations of people who believe what they want to believe about white supremacy, those who are for, those who are against, those who are in between. The point that I want to drive home here is it's a religion because it's practiced by racist man and racist woman. Don't take my word for it. Read Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, The United Compensatory Code. Go look it up. The United Compensatory Code. I can't think of the other phrases that comes after that, but just type in Neely Fuller Jr.'s book on Amazon, Google, whatever. You see it for yourself. It's evident. And even if you don't read his book, if you live in the West, you can see these things happen in front of you. It's not hidden. It's in your face every single day. The question is, can you see it? Do you notice it? Or are you naive and ignorant? And I'm not saying this to make anyone feel like I'm attacking anybody. I don't have to attack anyone. I know what I know what I've experienced, and I know what I see every day. Because a lot of times people come on here, sometimes on YouTube, and they say white supremacy doesn't exist. Sometimes people will tell me right in my face, oh, it doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. It never existed. It's just make believe. No, it's not make believe. It happens. It's real. I was walking down the street the other day, and it's funny how racism, white supremacy has been conditioned into our subconscious mind that even when things are happening, we don't see it as racism because we feel like we are somehow above the situations that white supremacy has conditioned most of us. But let me just go into this conversation I had with this woman one time. I was walking to work on a very sunny day, and as I was walking this way, she was walking this way. And I was about to pass her. Obviously, I don't know her, and she does not know me, but she said something that was so profound and made me think. She said, Jesus loves you. And I turned and looked at her. He loves you too. And I kept walking. But as I was walking, it dawned on me. It's amazing how we have been conditioned to believe in white supremacy. If you notice, or if you've traveled into other parts of the world, anything considered white is good. Why is that? Ask yourself that question. Why is it? Why is white good or considered good and black is considered bad? In Christianity, God is white. The devil is black. Interesting. You see, when we start really paying attention and not just follow suit or act like things don't happen around us or act like we don't see anything, you start putting the pieces together. You start putting the pieces together and you start realizing, wait a second, I am not really feeling this. Something is wrong with this world, with this picture. And white supremacists, those who practice it, are one of the most deceptive peoples that you will ever encounter. They are skilled. They plan ahead. They have no business of lessening their influences on these 10 areas that I've just mentioned earlier in this video. 9 I took from Neely Fuller Jr.'s book, the United Compensatory Code workbook. Economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, warfare. I added a 10th one, healthcare. White supremacy has control over all these areas. And they've made it their business that they want to keep control, because in order for them to control you, they have to control these areas. So that every time you think that you are going to leap one step ahead, they'll bring you 2 steps back down. Because there are certain things that you can't do under this system, which is a global system at that. I don't care where you go. You can go to Asia, you can go to Africa, you can go to South America, you can go to North America, you can go to Europe. I don't care where you go. It is evident. It's everywhere. It's controlling everything. If you think it's not being used in Africa, think again. When you go to Africa, most African countries, well, if you want to look at religion in terms of Christianity and Islam, probably 45%, 55%. Maybe Christianity 45%, Islam 55%. I don't know the percentage. I'm just throwing it out there. You can see it for yourself. In Africa, Christianity is whitewashed. Okay? Whitewashed. Christianity didn't even originate in Europe. It originated in Ethiopia. Long before the Romans converted to Christianity. And if it weren't for Constantine, Christianity would have never came to Europe. And it would have never been romanticized in a Catholic way. So that's another conversation, another topic, another video. But white supremacy exists. There's so many books I can name for you to go read, and you see it if you don't believe it. Or just live in the West. Live in the East. I don't care where you go. All you have to do is sit back, observe, and you see it. It's there. It's always been there. The reason why you can't see is because you have wolves covering your eyes. Just like in the Matrix. You're stuck in the Matrix. You can't see. You're looking, but you can't see. Until something hits you beside your head and then you realize, oh, wait a minute. But then it'll be too late. So many people have gotten killed for things that they shouldn't have never gotten killed or murdered for. So many things has happened these past few years just in a pandemic, and is resurrecting ills that were supposedly in the past, but they're still repeating itself because history has a way of repeating itself. Don't take my word for it. Just pay attention, watch, look, observe, and you see it. It's always been there. And we need to get rid of this system called white supremacy because it is a system of evil doing. It's a demonic, satanic system. It's not a system that benefits people. It does not create balance between people at all. It slaughters, it consumes, it controls, and it ostracizes anything in its way. And those who consider themselves black, non-white, whatever you want to call it, we are only reacting to the system. It's not the best thing we can do, but it's what we can do at this moment. Some of us are better than some, but I'm not here to elevate anyone and say you're doing better than the other. I'm not here to do that. I'm just want to make this video about white supremacy and why it's a religion. What do people who are religious do? They practice it. They worship a deity. In white supremacy culture, they are the deity. They are the God. They created a godlike personality that they have what? Imitated. They don't wait for a God to come save them. They've already created the God, and that God in so many forms. But one of the forms that I would like to mention to you is Jesus, who never existed, by the way, never existed, by the way, never existed, by the way. I had to say it 3 times. Jesus never existed. Why is he in the image of Caucasian? Blonde hair, blue eyes, crucified on the cross as a sacrificial lamb for the forgiveness of sins. And that does not shock you. Jesus never existed. Never. Not 2,000 years ago, not 100 years ago, not 15,000. He never existed at all. It's all make-believe and a way to condition people's minds, to keep them in a deranged, confused way of thinking. So, what if there's something I want you to take from this video? Just take the 10 areas that I've mentioned earlier in the video. White supremacy has control over all the areas: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, warfare, and healthcare. If you think I'm lying, do your research, pay attention, watch what is happening, especially during this COVID pandemic. If you just watch how many people have died, so many. The question still remains, is this virus normal? Is it normal? I'm not saying there are no viruses out there or diseases, but there are some viruses and diseases that are man-made. Man-made. Oh yes, man-made. Do you know something called gain functioning? I want you to look it up. Gain, Gain, functioning, 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 gain functioning. How scientists develop diseases that are more potent and not easily reversed. Oh yes, look it up. Don't take my word for it. White supremacy has control over all the areas I just mentioned in this video. You can take it or leave it. It exists and is practiced by racist man and racist woman, usually of European descent. Because you cannot be white and not have some level of understanding of white supremacy. Even if you deny it in many ways than some, you benefit from it. Until next time, Beacon of Light at the Derringdo Lighthouse. Mind, power, eternity. Your transformation is always in progress. Change your mindset, change your behavior, heal yourself, change your situations. Have no fear. Peace.